Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever really stopped to think about how your perception isn't just a window onto reality, but it's actually, shaping it?
Mm.
How just seeing or hearing or thinking,
Mhm.
it's this whole active process that kind of dictates your inner world.
Right.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into this ancient wisdom tradition that gives us this incredibly detailed map of that inner landscape. It's really a journey into the fabric of how you experience things.
That's a great way to put it. And our guide for this is a really profound Buddhist text. It's called the Saḷāyatanavibhaṅgasuttaṃ.
Okay, say that again.
Saṭanavibhaṅgasuttaṃ. In Pali, sutta is a discourse, and vibhaga means analysis, a systematic breakdown.
Vipagga analysis. Got it.
And this text, it really is that. It's a thorough analysis of what they call the six sense bases, how they work together to create our understanding, our world, even our sense of self. It's pretty foundational stuff.
And our goal here, our mission, is to really distill those insights for you. Give you a shortcut, maybe, to understanding this intricate dance between perception, feeling, consciousness,
Yeah.
hopefully sparking some aha moments that connect this ancient map to your own life, giving you maybe some new ways to navigate your own mind.
Exactly. Tools for understanding.
So, to really get how our experience is constructed, the sutta starts with these sets of sixes. They kind of build on each other, like the basic architecture.
Right, the blueprint. It starts with the doors of perception, you could say. The first set is the six internal sense bases. Chaitani, ayatanani in Pali.
Okay.
These are the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and crucially, the mind.
The mind is a sense base, just like the eye.
Exactly like the eye or ear. The mind is treated as a sense organ that perceives its own objects, thoughts, ideas, memories.
Oh, okay. That's fascinating right there. So if those are the doors, what comes through the doors? The external stuff.
Precisely. That's the next set, the six external sense bases, or Saḷāyatanavibhaṅgasuttaṃ. These are the objects for each sense door.
Makes sense.
So forms for the eye, sounds for the ear, smells for the nose, tastes for the tongue, tangibles, things you touch for the body, and mental objects for the mind.
Okay, so organ object. What happens when they, meet, that first spark?
That spark is the six consciousness aggregates, Chaviññāñakaya. This is the raw awareness that pops up the instant an internal base meets an external object.
Raw awareness. So not thinking about it yet.
Not yet, just the bare knowing. Your eye sees a color, pop, eye consciousness. Ear hears a noise, pop, ear consciousness. Nose, tongue, body, mind, same thing. It's the data just registering. Pure awareness.
Okay, so we have organ, object, raw awareness. What's the very next domino to fall? What does this sequence actually mean for us?
It leads straight to what the Sutta calls contact. That's the fourth set of six,
Yeah.
the six contact aggregates, or Chafasakaya.
Contact, like feeling something.
Not necessarily physical feeling, though that's included. It's the literal coming together of the three things: the sense organ, the object, and that raw consciousness.
Ah, okay.
So eye plus form plus eye consciousness, eye contact, ear plus sound plus ear consciousness, ear contact, and so on for all six. And this contact, this is the pivot point. It's not metaphorical. It's the immediate gateway to everything else that follows: feelings, reactions, thoughts. It all starts right there at that instant of contact.
All right, so that's the basic machinery. Organ, object, consciousness, contact.
But, I mean, our minds aren't just passive recorders, are they? We immediately start interpreting.
Exactly. We don't just register contact, we react. And this is where, as you said, it gets really interesting. The Sutta calls this the 18 mental investigations, Harasa Manopavikara.
18. Okay, how does that work?
Well, for each of the six types of contact, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, the mind immediately engages in one of three kinds of investigation.
Yeah.
It's like an instant categorization. So I see a flower, or hear a car horn, or even just have an idea pop into my head.
Yeah.
My mind is instantly doing one of these three things.
Instantly. First, there are six investigations tied to pleasure or joy. You see the flower and bam, the mind flags it as pleasant, agreeable.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, the opposite. Six investigations tied to displeasure or sorrow. You hear the car horn, bam, unpleasant, disagreeable.
Right.
And third, the six investigations tied to equanimity or neutrality. You see just a plain wall, maybe, and the mind goes neutral, neither pleasant nor unpleasant, no strong reaction.
That's incredibly precise. It's like this subconscious split-second sorting mechanism that happens before we even form a full emotion about it. It really sets the stage.
It absolutely does. It's the immediate coloring of experience.
Okay, but the Sutta goes even further, right? It takes these initial reactions and categorizes them into, 36 states?
That's right, the 36 states of living beings, or Chatisa Satapada. And here it introduces a really vital distinction. States rooted in our everyday worldly attachments versus states rooted in a deeper spiritual understanding or renunciation.
Okay, break that down. Worldly versus renunciation-based.
Yeah. So first you have the householder-based states, gehasitani. These are tied to our ordinary lives, our attachments, what the text calls lokami sapai, the yutana connected to the baits of the world, you could say.
Householder-based.
Right.
So, like, everyday stuff. Give me an example of a pleasure state here.
Sure. Think about the joy you feel when you finally get that thing you wanted, a new phone, maybe. Or even just remembering a really great vacation. That's a householder-based pleasure. Joy tied to getting or remembering agreeable forms, sounds, tastes, etc. that are connected to worldly desires.
Got it. Simple enough. What about displeasure?
That's the 6 householder-based displeasures. It's the flip side. The sorrow or frustration when you don't get the thing you want or when you lose something you were attached to. The disappointment, the grief, still tied to those worldly attachments.
Okay. And the neutral one, the householder equanimity.
This one's fascinating. The 6 householder-based equanimities. The sutta is quite direct here. It says this kind of neutrality arises when seeing things. Well, it uses terms like a fool, a deluded person, one uninformed, not seeing the danger.
Wow. Harsh.
It's pointed. The idea is this isn't a wise neutrality. It's more like indifference born from ignorance. It crucially does not transcend the object. You're neutral, but you still haven't seen the deeper nature, the impermanence of the thing. Maybe like shrugging off some bad news because you just can't be bothered.
That's a really sharp distinction. It's not just that you're neutral, but why? Okay, so what's the alternative? The renunciation-based states.
Right. The renunciation-based states, nekkamasitani, these come from a deeper insight, especially into impermanence.
So what does pleasure look like here? Is it still about getting things?
No, quite the opposite. The 6 renunciation-based pleasures are really profound. This is the joy that arises from understanding the impermanence, anikkata, the constant change, vipariyama, the fading away, viraga, and the eventual cessation, nirodha, of everything, forms, sounds, thoughts, all of it.
Joy from impermanence. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does at first, but it's the joy of seeing things as they truly are, with wisdom. Seeing that things are temporary, not clinging. There's a deep peace and happiness in that insight itself. It's freedom from the roller coaster of worldly pleasure and pain.
Okay, I can sort of see that. What about renunciation-based displeasure? That sounds even stranger.
It's another subtle one, the 6 renunciation-based displeasures. This isn't sadness because you lost something. It's a kind of divine discontent, maybe. It arises from seeing impermanence, seeing the suffering inherent in change, and this insight fuels a powerful longing papapati for higher liberations. Anuttaresu vimokesu. Yes, the displeasure is the ache of aspiration. It's thinking, when will I reach that state of freedom the wise ones know? It's a sorrow born not of loss, but of yearning for the ultimate goal. It actually motivates practice.
Wow. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, that's nuanced. And the renunciation-based equanimity, how is it different from the foolish one?
The 6 renunciation-based equanimities also arise from understanding impermanence. Like the householder type, it does not transcend the object in the sense that you're still observing the object, but the basis is completely different. It's rooted in wisdom, in seeing the true nature of things. It's a calm, clear-sighted neutrality, not ignorant indifference.
Okay, that distinction between the two equanimities based on ignorance versus wisdom, that's really key.
Right.
What's fascinating here is how it maps not just what we feel, but the quality and root of those feelings. Worldly attachment versus genuine insight.
Precisely. And for you, the listener, recognizing this distinction in your own experience is powerful. You can start asking, where is this feeling coming from? Is this joy based on getting something fleeting? Is this sadness a worldly disappointment? Or is it maybe this deeper, motivating discontent? It gives you agency.
It really does. And it's not just about understanding these states. That the sutta gives practical steps, right? This idea of relying on this, abandon that. Tatrade nisai dapuchahatara.
Exactly. It's a very practical step-by-step path for refining the mind.
So how does that work? What relies on what?
Okay, so first you work on the grosser levels. Abandon the worldly pleasures by cultivating and relying on the renunciant pleasures, the joy of insight.
Use the wiser joy to let go of the attachment joy. Okay.
Then, abandon the worldly displeasures by relying on the renunciant displeasures that noble longing for liberation. Use that aspiration to overcome petty frustrations.
Right.
And abandon the worldly ignorant equanimity by relying on the renunciant wise equanimity. Cultivate clear-sighted neutrality over mere indifference.
Okay, so you use the renunciation states to overcome the householder states. But then it keeps going. Even the renunciation states get refined.
They do. It's a progressive path. Next, you abandon those renunciant displeasures, the longing itself, by relying on the renunciant pleasures, the joy of seeing things clearly. You let the joy of understanding replace the ache of wanting.
Interesting.
And then you even abandon those renunciant pleasures by relying on renunciant equanimity. You move from the joy of insight to a stable, balanced, wise neutrality.
Wow. It keeps peeling back layers. What about that renunciant equanimity? Is that the end goal?
Not quite the final step. The sutta then makes another crucial distinction within equanimity itself. There's diverse equanimity, upekkha nanata citta.
Diverse.
Meaning it's still tied to diversity, to specific objects, equanimity towards forms, towards sounds, towards tastes, and so on. It's still based on the six senses. But then there's unified equanimity, upekkha ekata citta. This is a much deeper, more unified state that arises in higher meditation, beyond the ordinary senses. It's equanimity based on the sphere of infinite space or infinite consciousness or nothingness, or that very subtle state of neither perception nor non-perception, these boundless states.
The formless attainments.
Exactly. So the instruction is, abandon the diverse, object-based equanimity by relying on this unified, boundless equanimity developed in meditation.
Okay, so reach for those higher meditative states of balance. Is that the end?
One final step mentioned here. Even that profound, unified equanimity is ultimately to be abandoned.
How? By relying on what?
By relying on attamayata. It's a tricky word, sometimes translated as non-identification or not being made of that.
Not being made of that.
It means realizing complete non-identification with any state, however refined. Even the highest meditative state is still a state, a construct. Attamayata points towards the ultimate freedom beyond all conditions, all mental fabrications, pure, unattached awareness.
That's incredibly thorough. A step-by-step guide from basic reactions all the way to complete non-identification. It really is a shortcut to deep understanding if you follow the map.
It's a remarkable roadmap, yes.
Now, the sutta also talks about the teacher, the guide on this path, right? The sattva. It describes these 3 establishments of mindfulness.
Yes, Satipatthana. This section is fascinating because it shows the ideal mindset of a truly wise and compassionate teacher dealing with, well, reality.
Okay, what's the first establishment?
The first establishment describes the teacher teaching out of compassion, but the students, they just don't get it. They don't listen, don't pay attention, maybe even resist the teaching.
A tough situation for any teacher.
Definitely. But the enlightened teacher, in this case, remains unperturbed. Out of a pseudo, just calm, mindful, fully aware, without getting upset or discouraged.
Wow. Okay, what's the second?
The second establishment is the mixed bag. The teacher teaches, and some students listen and engage while others don't.
More common, probably.
Probably. And here, the teacher feels neither pleased by the ones who listen nor displeased by the ones who don't. They abandon both reactions, remaining equanimous, upekkha, perfectly balanced, mindful, and aware.
No highs, no lows, just steady presence.
Exactly. And the third establishment, that's the ideal scenario. The teacher teaches, and everyone listens, pays attention, understands, and practices accordingly.
The dream class.
Right. And in this case, the teacher is described as being pleased, attamano, but crucially, still mindful and aware. It's not an ego-driven pleasure, but a wholesome joy seeing the teachings land effectively.
That's such a profound model. It allows for appropriate feeling, lack of perturbation, equanimity, even wholesome pleasure, but always grounded in mindfulness and awareness, completely independent of ego or needing a certain outcome. That's wisdom in action.
It really is a standard for anyone trying to guide others.
And the sutta finishes with this really powerful statement about the ultimate guide, calling the Buddha the unsurpassed guide for those to be tamed, anuttaro pirasa dhammasarathi.
Yes, the unsurpassed tamer of humans needing guidance. And it uses a great analogy.
Right, the animal trainers.
Exactly. It says, an elephant trainer, a horse trainer, an ox trainer. They're skilled, sure, but they can only train their animal to go in one direction at a time, east, west, north, or south. Their influence is limited, essentially physical.
But the Buddha, the Tathagata, is different.
Completely different. The text says the Buddha can guide a person who needs taming in 8 directions. Atha disa vidavati.
8 directions. What does that mean? Not literal directions, I assume.
No, these represent 8 progressive stages of insight and liberation, moving from the gross to the incredibly subtle. It's a map of the path to full awakening.
Okay, what are they, briefly?
It starts with meditative states still connected to form, like 1, seeing forms while still aware of one's own form, then 2, transcending the internal sense of form while still seeing external forms, then 3, focusing only on the beautiful or auspicious aspect.
So refining perception of form.
Yes. Then it moves beyond form entirely, into the formless realms we mentioned with unified equanimity, realizing 4, infinite space, then 5, infinite consciousness, then 6, nothingness, and the incredibly subtle 7, neither perception nor non-perception.
The highest meditative states. And the 8.
The 8th is the ultimate goal. 8, the cessation of perception and feeling, Sañāyatanavibhaṅgasuttaṃ, complete release from the cycle of sensing and reacting, the end of suffering.
Wow. So guiding someone through those 8 directions, that signifies an unparalleled ability to lead someone from ordinary consciousness all the way to complete liberation, far beyond what any ordinary trainer could do.
Infinitely beyond. It highlights the sheer depth and transformative scope of the Buddha's guidance.
What an incredible map we've explored today, from the absolute basics of how sense perception works, the organs, objects, consciousness, that crucial point of contact, through the mind's immediate reactions in those 18 investigations, and into that detailed breakdown of our emotional states, the Care 36 states, separating the worldly from the renunciate.
Right, that key distinction.
And then the practical path of abandoning the lesser by relying on the greater, refining equanimity all the way to non-identification. And finally, understanding the nature of the guide who can lead us through all 8 directions.
Yeah, if you connect it all, the big takeaway really is about gaining agency. By understanding this intricate machinery, how sense contact leads to feeling, how our mind investigates, how states arise based on attachment or wisdom, we can stop being just pushed around by our reactions.
You can move from being reactive to being, well, more deliberate, more insightful.
Exactly. It gives you, the listener, the tools to see what's actually happening in your mind and choose a wiser response. It's truly an actionable map.
Which really brings up a final question for you to think about. How might just starting to notice your own 18 mental investigations, that immediate tag of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, change things? Or what if you started classifying your own joys and sorrows? Is this rooted in householder attachment, or is there a spark of renunciation-based understanding or aspiration there? How might seeing your own mind through this ancient lens shift what you value, what you pursue? What does freedom really mean for you?